Jay here of Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford, as usual, where it's pretty sunny, but it's not as hot as I thought it was. So maybe the shorts and t-shirt wasn't a great idea, but we'll see. Anyway, moving on to news, and it's all about transfers, in it? Because 9 days away are we from the transfer window opening? So as you'd expect, lots of transfer stories doing the rounds, and we've actually got a here we go. Fabrizio Romano has given us a deal that's been done. Manchester United have completed a deal. I'm not going to lie to you, it's probably not the deal that everyone was sort of expecting or hoping for, but it's not a bad one. It's a useful addition to the squad, shall we say. Tom Heaton, Fabrizio Romano, tweeted over the weekend, Tom Heaton will undergo his medical and sign as new Manchester United player in the next weeks. The deal is done and completed, in inverted commas. Contract until June 2023. Option for one more season. Here we go. So we've got a here we go. Tom Heaton, of course, was here. He was at Manchester United about 11 years ago, I think he left. Gone to various clubs, ended up at Aston Villa, and now he's coming back to Manchester United. Now that can mean several things. The likelihood is he's not going to come in here as first choice goalkeeper, but what that could mean is that one of the other reserve goalkeepers is moved on. Now, when I say reserve, does that mean and include David De Gea or Dean Henderson? Is one of those two going to go? Is it Lee Grant? We expect Sergio Romero to go. Does Tom Heaton come in as number two? Does he come in as someone who's going to play in the cup games, perhaps, and do what David De Gea has been doing, or what Dean Henderson was doing earlier in the season? Or is he a sort of like-for-like replacement with Lee Grant? We'll have to wait and see. Tom Heaton, season pro, 35 years old, been at the club before, makes a lot of sense. It's one of those okay, makes sense. It isn't going to be a transfer that, with all due respect to him, is going to make a whole lot of difference in United's season for the forthcoming campaign. But we'll wait and see sort of how that pans out in terms of how he fits into the squad and the role he's going to have to play. My overriding memory of Tom Heaton since he left is that game against Burnley. Do you remember when he was absolutely unbeatable? I think we threw everything apart from the kitchen sink, if I get my cliches out, at him, and we just couldn't get past him. So I wish he'd have done the move before then, to be honest with you. Anyway, he's here now, so yeah, a useful addition to the squad, but nothing more than that, and I don't think we need to look too much into it. There are more sort of exciting, if I can use that word, transfer stories doing the rounds, and one doing the papers this morning and last night was about Saul Niguez from Athletico Madrid, and I think this emanated from came out of Deportivo. It came out of, so we say, Spanish reports, and the English press have picked up on it, and it's saying that he's on Manchester United's radar, and Atletico will negotiate at 40 million. He's got a buyout clause of around 60 million, but United believe they can get him down to around the 40 million pound mark. I'm not so sure we do get him down to that. I think his buyout clause is 60 million for a reason, and I think if you want a player like him, who is 26 years old, so he's not like he's coming to the end of his career, he's still got quite a few years left in him, then I think you are going to have to pay his buyout clause. Listen, Atletico Madrid have just had a fantastic season, won La Liga, he's been a big part of that. He's obviously a very talented midfielder. We need someone like him here. If we want him, we're going to have to pay for him. And Atletico Madrid they have this sort of business model where they do sell players on. We've seen it in the past, going all the way back to the likes of David De Gea, Sergio Romero, Fernando Torres, Diego Costa. More recently, of course, Thomas Partey to Arsenal, where they have these buyout clauses. You can get these players, but you have to pay what Atletico want. And it's believed that they're willing to sell him, or obviously he's got a buyout clause. There's not much they can do if he wants to go and someone meets that clause, but that will help fund strengthening their squad in other areas. They've just won the league, as I said. Spanish football is in a bit of a mess at the minute. Barcelona just run shambolically, and also Real Madrid have got their own issues, hence the whole Super League thing. European Super League was sort of championed by those two clubs because they're in such a financial mess. So now would be the sort of opportune time for Atletico Madrid to perhaps build on their La Liga win and retain the title, and maybe could become a true force, a consistent force at the top of the Liga. But we'll have to wait and see, and that's for the Atletico Madrid fans to worry about. From a Manchester United point of view, I think that Niguez would be a great signing. He's believed to have been on around 115 grand a week, so his wages shouldn't be an issue when you look at some of the wages we dish out here at Old Trafford. But we'll have to wait and see whether that deal can be made. There's also reports that Juventus are sniffing around him as well, so United may have to get in some sort of not a bidding war perhaps, but just sort of a wooing war, if that's even a saying, to get the talented midfielder here to Old Trafford. Another player that we've been heavily linked with over the past year or so, probably more so the past few months, is Harry Kane. He's been making noises that he wants to leave Tottenham. He's not happy at the fact that he's not won any trophies. I saw a picture of him on holiday, or he posted a picture on his Instagram of him with his Golden Boot award or something. It's a couple of awards that he's won, individual awards. I mean, yeah, that's great, and there's nothing wrong with getting Golden Boots and scoring the most goals in a season, and even getting MBEs. All that sort of stuff is good, but it's not trophies, is it? And you get the impression that from the noises he's been making, and from what's just been going on for his career, that he's 28 now, that he wants to win trophies. He must look at it and see his sort of peers. See, obviously Chelsea have just won the Champions League. Even the likes of Jamie Vardy, who now has an FA Cup to add to his Premier League winners medal. Harry Kane must look at these players, look at players, the likes of Timo Werner with a Champions League medal, likes of Jamie Vardy with a couple of domestic honours, and think, I'm better than these players and I've won nothing. So there's a good chance that he will leave Spurs relatively soon, perhaps this summer, maybe a little bit further down the line, but this summer could be the optimum one for Daniel Levy to get the most out of it. But reports indicate that Manchester United prefer Jayden Sancho if we are going to go for a big sort of money attacking option. Jayden Sancho stories, man, this just feels like 2020 all over again, doesn't it? How many times did I stand here last summer saying Jayden Sancho looks like it's almost a done deal? Jayden Sancho, the clubs have agreed, the player's agent has agreed sort of terms with the club. Now it's just up to the clubs to meet to find a happy medium when it comes to the deal. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but reports are Manchester United aren't anticipating making a £120 million move for Harry Kane this summer, preferring to target the signing of England winger Jayden Sancho and waiting 12 months to try and land Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's former player Erling Haaland from Borussia Dortmund. Now, Haaland has a buyout clause from Dortmund that kicks in next season. I think it's around the £70 million mark. Forgive me if I can't get my figures exactly right. But the sort of logic was that maybe he'd go this summer because Dortmund can sell him for more. They can get 100 odd million for him if they sell him before that buyout clause kicks in. If he doesn't go this summer, if they do decide to keep him, or if they only want to sell one player and it happens to be Sancho, then maybe we can go for him next summer. We'll have to wait and see. Dortmund, obviously, of course, had a bit of a rally towards the end of the season. Jayden Sancho was a big part of that. He helped them win the German Cup. They also qualified for the Champions League, which at one time was looking ropey, and he got 10 goals in his last 15 games, so he was a big part of that sort of cavalier charge towards the end of Dortmund's season that more or less rescued the season, because at one point it was looking really shaky. I think they were sort of mid-table, and it looked like they weren't going to qualify for Europe and could end up in all sorts of trouble, but that wasn't the case. Talking of transfer rumours that we always hear, Cristiano Ronaldo to Manchester United. There's one we've not heard since, I don't know, last summer, the summer before that. Going back to, when was it he left? 2009, going back to 2010, I think was the first time we heard that Ronaldo's return was on the cards. Now, the latest reports are that Manchester United reportedly believe Juventus could pay them money and Cristiano Ronaldo to get Paul Pogba. There's always been this talk that Paul Pogba could return to Juve, maybe now added with the talk that Cristiano could return to Manchester United, and that if Juve were to give us Cristiano Ronaldo, who's obviously 36, and some money, they could get 28-year-old Paul Pogba, who, because of his age, would be worth a little bit more in transfer market value than Cristiano Ronaldo. I'll be honest with you, I don't see this happening. I know that Juve have had a poor season. Pirlo got sacked. Allegri went back there because of the failure they had this season. I don't know if Cristiano Ronaldo comes back to Old Trafford. I think he's a player that always likes to move forward. He's got this fantastic record, and I think he's won titles everywhere he's gone. He's been the top scorer, I think, everywhere he's gone, or he's won the lot basically. I think he's won every domestic honour in every country he's been in. So he's won all the domestic honours in Italy, Spain, and England, of course, as well. And he's tweeted about that. He's posted on Instagram. He put a bit of an essay on there. I won't read it all because we'll be here all day. But he put, this year we couldn't win Serie A. Congratulations to Inter for the well-deserved title. However, I have to value everything that we achieved this season at Juventus, both in collective and individual terms. He talks about winning the Italian Super Cup, the Italian Cup, and being Serie A top scorer. He says, with these achievements, I reached the goal that I had set myself since the first day I arrived in Italy, to win the Championship, the Cup, and the Super Cup. And also be the best player and top scorer in this great football country. He's just going on and on. He says, I've always said that I don't chase records. Records chase me. I don't chase records. Records chase me. Reminds me, ever seen Tropic Thunder? Robert Downey Jr. I don't read the script. The script reads me. What are you on about? So, then he goes on to say about the fact he's been a champion in England, Spain and Italy, a cup winner in England, Spain and Italy. He's quite modest, isn't he? Hey, Cristiano Ronaldo. He doesn't like to brag about his achievements. He likes to keep them, close to his chest. So he's done this, and then he signs it all off with thanks to everyone who took part in this journey. We stand together. We've heard these sort of statements, haven't we, before from Cristiano Ronaldo? Where am I going to go? Only God knows where I'll end up, and all that sort of stuff. It could be an indication that he wants to leave Juve. It could be an indication he's going to stay. I don't know. Probably not even Cristiano Ronaldo at this moment knows what he wants to do. Will he come back to Old Trafford, though? And will he be part of a deal that takes Paul Pogba over to Juve? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that's going to happen at all. But if it does, we'll keep you posted. Another sort of story doing the rounds, or more speculation really, is Gareth Southgate's England squad. He's going to announce his final England squad tomorrow. He announced the 33-man provisional squad. Lots of United contingents in there, of course, usual suspects, as well as likes of Mason Greenwood, who some people feel may not make the cut because he is going to cut it down to 26 players tomorrow. There was some sort of rumours doing the rounds and sort of speculation doing the rounds that maybe Marcus Rashford could miss out because Marcus Rashford, he's needed this operation. I think it was Henry Winter a few months ago tweeted that Marcus Rashford's been carrying, I think, a shoulder injury, needs an operation, and was going to put it off till after the Euros. Now, some people speculating, well, maybe he could miss the Euros, get his sort of operation early, and be more fully recovered. Would it not be in the player's best interest to do that? I'm not so sure. I think Gareth Southgate values Marcus Rashford. He's got a very good record for England. He is one of Gareth Southgate's preferred players. From a United point of view and a selfish point of view, I'd probably prefer it if Marcus Rashford did get fully rested this summer and didn't have to go to the Euros. But I think Marcus Rashford, who obviously loves playing for his country, would disagree with that sentiment. I think he'd be desperate to play for England, and I think Gareth Southgate would be desperate to see him as well. The real interesting one there would be to see whether Mason Greenwood makes a cut. I don't think he's going to. And again, part of me almost is glad about that. Yes, Mason Greenwood obviously want to play for his country, but England can be a bit of a circus. He's still only a young lad. He's 19 years old. He's going to play a lot of games for England, I won't say win a lot of trophies, but score a lot of goals for them. So it might not be the end of the world if he sits this out as well, because he played a lot of football towards the end of Manchester United's season, of course, going all the way to the Europa League final, which I'm gutted I mentioned, and let's just forget about that, shall we? I'm going to wrap it up there. We are going to have all the usual stuff coming this week, of course. With no game, no Manchester United game, but we'll have the podcast, we'll have some transfer reviews as well, transfer news, transfer lives as well. Me and Joe doing that as well, so make sure you're checking that out. I think Joe and McCullough are going to be on later on as well, with a bit of a P-take, probably a bit of a European one. I don't know what there is to talk about in Europe that they could be laughing at over the weekend. I'm not really sure. You can maybe guess yourself and find out later on today. Don't forget, if you're not doing, to hit like, share and subscribe. I've been Jay Motti. This has been the Paper Talk from Old Trafford. Thanks for watching.